Greetings everyone and welcome back to Going Medieval, where our little colony is starting to make a name for itself. We have a proper fortification at this point, a nice big gatehouse which should be able to turn away quite a few scallywags, though we've yet to fully test it. We have orchards, we have farms, we even have some nice roasty toasty bedrooms for all of the people living here. But there is much yet to do. Now, in this episode, there is a main project that I would like to be working on. Let me just try and get the right camera angle thereabout. I would like to start work on the bridge, which is going to reach across this river, because as some of you may know, we are going to be getting water into the game. It's kind of an unscheduled, unplanned feature. Well, I mean, there's a lot of planning going into it now, but it was never really something that the devs were thinking of doing, but it has been requested so aggressively over such a long time that they are now looking into ways to implement it. Now, I don't know if that is going to necessarily make its way onto our map. It might require a fresh game save, but we'll see what the future holds. Regardless, I do want to start putting in the groundwork to have a functional bridge over this dried up riverbed. And what we can do then is cordon off an area over here for perhaps some growing, some proper fields, some proper orchards, something along those lines. Obviously, we want it to be a heavily defended area, so realistically, I only want the only access to that area to be the bridge stretching over here. Now, I'm not entirely certain on what kind of bridge we're going for, whether we're going to have a massive wide bridge that upon which maybe there could be some buildings, or just a bridge. But the first step towards this is to prepare the way, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to carve back a little bit of the ground over here. We're going to lose a little bit more room on this side and level out this side so that we've got a nice flat surface to bridge across. This probably will necessitate moving the Oak Brethren Shrine, so I might go ahead and prioritize doing that before we start work on the bridge. In fact, I think that probably would be a pretty solid idea. So let's go ahead and try and make something at least equivalent to the Restitutionist Shrine. Oh, it appears that we do not have the second shrine. There we go. I'll make that. I don't know when we lost that one, but oh well. But let's try and just set up a little bit of something over here, roughly equivalent. And here we go. It is coming up to 9 a.m. on the 7th of winter, and we've more or less finished the Oak Brethren Temple. There we are. It looks lovely in there. Oh, maybe we could fit in a little bit of extra decoration, perhaps. Is there anything that we could pop in there? Maybe some stools. A wicker stool feels very Oak Brethren to me. We could just maybe pop one right about there. Maybe some in the corners. Let's forgo the ones in the corners. Is there any other kind of decorative item we could put in? Not really, unfortunately. Oh well, the stool will have to do. But there we are. The temple is complete and the old temple has been torn down. You may already notice that I am shaping a bit of the landscape as well. We've already managed to place down some soil on the far side that we'll be able to connect up to. Now, my plan is, well, ideally I would like to build the bridge from that side across, and whilst doing that, we can work on fortifying this area, because ultimately I would like to have another tower on the other side of the bridge. Now, this tower is not necessarily going to need to look like this one. These are specific to gatehouses, and I kind of want a bit of a theme to develop as we go forward. But we do want some sort of tower, or even just a lookout to kind of mark the edges of the bridge. Now, another thing that we're going to want to do is to work out just how far across this is. Will this tell me that's 21 over to there? Okay, and then from here it is another 9, so actually 30. Well, that's not as great as it might seem, because it's an even number. Okay. Well, how wide do we want it? Let's try and have a think about that. Now, we're going to be using the wooden beam supports to try and lend, well, some support to it. I would imagine we want the outside supported, so maybe 4 along the inside, or perhaps even 3, but 4 should be okay if it's coming from either end. Let's have a quick look at this. If we have a look here, we should be able to build 2 from each side and they'll join in the middle. So we could have a support, 4 across, and then another support, which I would be absolutely okay with. And to that end, maybe if we were to build it out from this, I could just build out the soil wall here a little bit, but we would lose the shape of this area. I think instead we'll dig in. So to make an anchor point for the supports, let's go ahead and do a little bit more cutting up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Dig that away. And I'm just going to put a regular wooden support over there. And then line that up with the other side as well. So let's just grab you, bring you all the way across. There. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there. These will be our wooden beams. Now, we're not going to need this ramp. We don't kind of want it, honestly. So we'll just take that one away, because that one's going to get in the way of the bridge, whereas this one, we are going to need a way up there. So for the time being, that one can stay. Now, it is a case of finding the midpoint. So we're going to want to come out about 15 tiles, something like this. So that would be the 15th. And so we are going to want... well, that wasn't actually a smart way of doing it, was it? Let's try that again. So 15 tiles. So 14, rather. That one doesn't build. That's fine. We'll do this. Something like that. And then over here as well. There we go. And now I just need to cancel these tiles. There we go. Right, so this is going to create our support structure. Now, later on when you're building out of wall, you can do a lot more with this. For example, I can make these kinds of changes there. I don't believe I can make any kind of change to a soil wall. If I place that down, I don't believe there's any way that we can change that around. But if we were to go for something like clay, let's see. Can I change the shape? Yes, we can have interesting shapes over here. Now that does raise some questions. Is this going to be the point where we decide to dig in and get some limestone? I think there is a good chance of it, actually. Because I'm imagining limestone will have a similar kind of shape effect. Yes. Alright. Now then, given that, we've got a couple of options here. Let me go and find the nearest limestone, visible limestone deposit for us to dig into. Though, that being said, winter's the worst time to do it because everything's covered in snow. It's remarkably hard to see where limestone is when you can't actually see the floor. The best bet is to go down one layer and look for any visible seams, but even then, that's not going to be an easy one for us, unfortunately. No, we might have to wait until winter is over. On the plus side, we're not actually that far away, so... Okay, well, we'll just dig out these areas and prepare them. We can have the central pillar be made of limestone, and that will eventually enable us to upgrade to limestone, an entirely limestone bridge, a little bit sooner in the future. But for now, that'll just have to be as it is. For those wondering about the windows, all the windows have been closed. All I've done is I've increased the intensity of the braziers, and the indoors now is a very toasty 22 degrees. 12 degrees over here, but it has got 2 less braziers. But still, 12 degrees in the common room, I think that's more than good enough, actually. Okay, so with that removed, we will now go ahead and... Well, if we're going to have limestone, I may as well have limestone supports on either side. Fermenting fruit juice is fermented on the stockpile and turned into rough wine. Fantastic. Settlers are suffering from the cold. That is going to happen in winter. I mean, I don't really know what you expect me to do. Oh, we've got some... Is this limestone itself? Oh, it might be. It may well be if we've gotten some limestone there. Let's have a quick look at you. What are you? That is dirt. But is this limestone? Yeah, there's a little bit of limestone in the dirt there. Okay, well, I can definitely work with that. I wonder if we can find any more limestone around the place. Yep, something around here. Okay, well, we're going to start digging into this limestone for now until we can hollow out enough limestone for us to use. Now, this might take me some time. Now, whilst I notice Super Melody Rose are busy digging into the limestone and Dakota is gathering up some more berries to make some more food, we have some research available. And considering we are now very much digging into stone, specifically to start building with stone, I think it may be time for us to unlock stone block cutting. So let's go ahead and use 20 points on unlocking that. We could also go into defensive structures, which would give us some wooden traps, and I'm not against that. specifically. Though instead, we could use those 30 books to unlock the longbow. The longbow is a decisive weapon. Alternatively, cooking is also available, and that would give us the lavish meal. I don't really think we're wanting to move into lavish meals, and to build the stove we would need 5 ingots anyway. The armorer likely needs a decent amount of ingots. Does this require... well, I won't hope it doesn't require any iron. It's not like an iron shot longbow, but let's go ahead and unlock that one as well. Right, now with that unlocked, let's come in here and see if we can't have a couple of longbows always available. Until you have 5 of these. Let's go ahead with that one. There we go. Is there any other way of adjusting that? No, unfortunately I can't tell them. Until you've got 5 sturdy longbows, we'll just have to break the longbows down as time goes on. Now then, we do have the ability to build up a stonemason's bench. Now, for the time being, I'm just going to pop that in here simply because it's a nice, convenient spot to have it. This is a bit of a workshop. Ultimately, I want a dedicated room for these buildings, but the stone blocks can be carved up there easily enough. Now, have you finished all of that? Oh, that's fantastic work. You've actually got all of it done. Decent amount of limestone out there, a fair amount of dirt as well, but I can forgive you that. Alright, let's wait until we've got some stone bricks. Now, bricks, I don't really think they give much in the way of extra hit points, though I do think they do adjust the hit points of a block, but what it should do is give us a very different look. Until you have, let's say, a nice big number. Until you've got 50. You go ahead and start breaking that down. There we go. That'll do reasonably well, one would hope. Settlers are suffering from the cold. Now, I'm going to have to wait for the stone bricks to be available, I should imagine. Let's have a look around. I don't think there's any option there. Yeah, we're going to need to wait for the stone bricks to be made, unless we also need it over here. No, this is just for beautiful limestone statues, which I am all for adding, but later. Okay, well, we're going to have to wait for someone to make some stone blocks before I can actually put the two side by side and compare. So, we're going to pass a little bit more time. It is the 9th of winter. It's just gone midnight. We've just passed the witching hour. And all is well in the town of Frostgrave. A cold snap. Severe frost turned the ground to iron, ruining planted crops. Trees split, birds froze to death, and rivers became solid ice that we don't actually have, and they have confirmed that they're not going to be adding ice, so this flavor text may actually go away. The reason for that is that the water levels that they're looking to implement will be 3 height levels, but the game really isn't built for allowing a single tile to have 3 separate elevations. It's all or nothing as far as the elevation of units is concerned, but if water could freeze and it could have 3 levels of depth, then it would cause all kinds of issues. Nevertheless, it's vital for the settlers to dress warmly and heat Frostgrave's sleeping quarters to evade the deathly kiss of cold. Fair enough. I am currently working through my list of people who do any kind of plant cutting to try and just bring their kind of skill levels into more of a normal setting, so that they will do it sometimes, but they're not going to prioritize it over doing stuff like crafting. Now, that being said, I probably do need to roll these around a little bit. We've got no one who's particularly skilled at crafting, and honestly, crafting is like stewarding and hauling. It's not a job that people tend to be skilled in. As such, we're probably looking for a bit of a dog's body at some point. Someone who can just do the stewarding, the hauling, the crafting as priority skills, rather than having any specific trade that is a priority skill. Nevertheless, let's have a quick look at outdoors. Outdoors, it is currently -12, and that is very, very cold for the 10th day of winter. It is still a roasty-toasty 23°C inside, though. This is probably the last time it's going to be bitterly cold in Frostgrave, so it was a good time that this cold snap actually appeared. Could have been far, far worse for us. Now, in terms of our items, let's just have a quick gander at our ranged weapons. Do we have any longbows? We do. We've got 2 sturdy longbows. very nice indeed. The base value is quite high. Let's have a look at the actual the damage it's capable of doing. 4.07 across 18 meters. It's not quite as accurate across that, but still very, very happy. Oh, this is amazing, showing the way where it's all stored away. If we go ahead and have a look at our peeps, I could... I seem to recall that equipping a longbow required a certain degree of skill. As such, we probably want to make sure that it isn't just given to anyone who's got some degree of marksman, but instead someone who's actually good at it. So I'm going to say we've got a range. I've also added a spears group, though unfortunately Dakota hasn't gone and grabbed one, which I'm a little bit sad about. Hopefully Dakota will go and grab one soon. I have set that up, but it might be that we just haven't produced a spear of a sufficient quality. On that note, let me just double check. Are we actually making a decent amount of spears? Yes, we are. Let's go into overview and have a quick gander at that one. It's always worth just checking stuff out like this. Yeah, we've got plenty of good spears, so I'm not quite sure why Dakota isn't equipping it. Nevertheless, I'll keep you around for the time being, just so that we can show how you look, how you set up a new preset. So in this case, we're going to make a new one. This one's going to be called Longbow specifically. I would not want them to equip anything that is less than, say, 55 hit points, or 55 to 100 hit points, and I only want you to consider sturdy and up for this one. It's going to be a ranged weapon, however I'm going to turn all of that off, and we are only going to have the longbow equipped in here. Now this is a very, very specific one. You probably don't strictly want to do this, just have a single weapon. Nevertheless, it is sometimes useful. But for example, under the spears option, I've got a bunch of spears and polearms equivalents set up for that one. But this, we're being very, very specific. If there isn't a longbow, they simply won't have a weapon. So do bear that in mind. We might want to add something else in, maybe the war bow, for example. Maybe the short bow is the only one that's available if for the ranged group. Rather, it's the only time they'll be able to equip that. Now, Melody Rose does not have the marksman skill for it. You got 15. Tubman should easily be able to handle a longbow, though, so let's make sure that you're actually equipped with one. There we go. And let's go back through here and see if we can't get you to equip melee two-hand. I mean, I could just say melee two-hand. I could say melee two-hand for both of them. That should be fine. No shields, though. That might have actually been what was standing in the way of you equipping a spear, thinking about it. There we go. Perfect. It was just that there was a conflict between having a shield in one hand and being told to wield a two-handed weapon. Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, do we have ourselves any bricks? Let's have a quick look. We've got resources. There we go. We've got food. I would like to have a look at material. Got stupid amounts of wood. That's grand. But what I would really like is stone. We've got limestone. Limestone brick. Fantastic. So we do have an example of it. Now, it's only -4 outside. And we're almost through winter, which is kind of impressive. Right, so let's go ahead and find you. So this is the limestone block wall. If we place that down, as you can see, it's got a much more uniform look. And it does, in fact, have different faces. That's very interesting. So let's have a look through the ghosted image. Oh, well, it'll probably be a lot easier to see once it's built. And for the sake of comparison, let's pop down a regular one. But you can probably already tell it's a bit more of an irregular shape. There we go. Let's let those get built, and then we can have a look at what we want to build with for the bridge. Okay, here we go. So the brick wall looks like bricks, and just the limestone wall looks more like dry stone. So we've got a pillar, and we've got that on both of them. I would say that obviously looks like a more structurally sound pillar. You've also got curves. Now, that doesn't look too bad at all, though I should imagine any kind of curve is going to look better with the bricks. Yeah, I feel that the bricks do have a better curve face, though. Honestly, as just a straight wall, I kind of favor the dry stone. I'm not going to lie, I think that has more character to it than this. But we've got other options over here. So we've got more detail along the corner surfaces, and we have specific corners, so you could do something very, very interesting with that, I should imagine. Now, as for this bridge, I'm going to say we're going to want flat faces on this side, but then circular pillars somewhere around here. So, given that, I will actually go with this, with the limestone wall. Now, there's one other thing that this will have added, and that is we now have the option to use limestone block arches. And these are actual arches. Any long-standing viewer will know my relationship with arches. Obviously, that is better than these wooden supports on so many different levels. We can make something really fancy looking with this. But right now, it will just be for the wall itself. Though this does showcase that this actually does have a limit in length. What is that limit, I wonder? It's one more tile than this. Let's have a look at how long that goes out for. So that is 12 tiles. Okay, well, we can still work with that, actually. We could just make it 10, 10, and 10. That wouldn't be a terrible thing, though it does kind of necessitate pulling this area in a little bit more. Right. Well, I've got a bit of a plan now, so let me get on with it. Of course you did. Of course you did. How? I don't even know, because that tile had been dug out long ago. But somehow, Tubman managed to build himself into a prison. We're not safe from it, even in this game. Alright, I'll build you a scaffold. Though I don't think you deserve one. It is almost bedtime, and I am having to force I know to soup to build Tubman a way out. Oh, well done, Alacramps. Coming over here. Tubman is all alone, freezing cold. Alacramps came to keep him company. Well done, Alacramps. Right, the bestest of boys. Tubman, let's get you inside. You are freezing cold. Thankfully, you're not wet, because every time you peed yourself, it immediately froze, so you were just able to shake the pea crystals off. My lord, that was a harrowing experience, and your friends just basically left you there. I'm not sure what you did to deserve it, but it must have been something pretty bad. The merchant caravan has arrived. The dealer in luxury sometimes carries swords from Toledo and Damascus. Fantastic. Come along in. It is the very last day of winter, and as you can see, we've made some progress getting the support pillars up and running. At this stage, we probably could go ahead and throw down the first of the actual limestone block arches. Let's go ahead and pop that one right there. Should make a pretty solid connection. Looking at the ghost, it isn't going to have any weird gaps there. That's always a worry with trying to join a flat surface to a curved surface, but it looks like this game is going to be able to handle it quite admirably. On that note, maybe we should do something like that on this. No, I don't really think that actually adds anything to it. I don't think it makes it look any better, I'm afraid. Right, let's get everything done over here, and we will go ahead and get... let's see, I always forget who's the best. Melody Rose? No, I know to soup. I know to soup. Let's have you go and have a quick chat with Grimbold. What a fantastic name. Alright then, Grimbold, let's see what you have to offer. Well, all things sold, a pretty poor offering. I guess we'll just top it off with the healing kit. We're going to exchange a bunch of our straw hats and a couple of our caps, as well as the hair headpiece. Well, maybe we'll keep the hair headpiece, actually. But we've got a kerchief and 2 head scarves of very, very high quality. Higher quality than the headpiece, so I guess we'll leave that. And we've also purchased a simple healing kit. There we go. Thank you ever so much. I will accept, and we will basically be offering them a little bit of extra money, extra profit rather. So that should build up some relations, I should imagine. In fact, we did. We got one alignment. I noticed there's some wood on the floor there, so we're going to just tear that up so we can use that wood elsewhere. There we go. Hopefully all the healing kits and such will be brought in. Now, in terms of meals, we're actually doing okay. We've got 22 roasted meat. It's not a very varied diet right now. I appreciate that. It's actually quite a basic diet, but, you know, on the plus side, we got some rough wine, so it's not all that bad. And we still have some currants, some barley, and some raw meat in the larder. Talking about the larder, let's go down and have a check of what the temperature is like down there. The temperature down here is 4.2, so it isn't even in the minuses, despite outside being well into the minus, or has been for most of the winter. That's, I guess, a good sign that it's well insulated and won't get too hot in the summer, but we'll probably never see it in the minuses. This is not going to be as easy as it is with clan folk. That being said, we will be able to purchase some ice blocks occasionally from certain merchants if we're lucky. Nevertheless, work continues on the support pillars over here. We are heading into spring. In fact, it is midnight. We've just passed the witching hour on the first day of spring, so it's time for me now to probably activate these again. I turned them on to don't sow over winter so that we wouldn't lose any seeds. I might wait for it to get at least to the point that the snow has melted off the ground before I allow them to start sowing again, just to be doubly certain. The other thing I've done is I've gone ahead and I've added in some extra spike traps around here. Beatram and Soundsphere are now friends, thanks to a wonderful conversation. One can only wonder at what that conversation topic was. Nevertheless, both of them seem pretty happy with it, so well done them. Right, now that winter has passed, I can clearly see where we can get plenty of limestone, so I'm going to set up a couple more dig spots for that. Though I'm going to try and avoid this area because I don't want to lose everything in there, or rather the shape of the terrain. So we'll try and gather limestone from a little bit further afield if we have to, though ideally would remain relatively close. Actually, that seems like one of the best places for it, which is a little bit of a problem, but it's not the worst thing in the world. That being said, we could simply dig across from over here and access all of this limestone. I think that might not be a bad idea, actually. Let's set up a little bit of a branch mine into here. There we go. Now, there's still plenty of limestone for us to use, so we don't strictly need to get over to that, but getting the mining done now will allow Alacramps to pull in the materials for us, so it's a little bit closer then for us to use for crafting. That being said, not much progress has been made in the last few days on the walls over here, and part of that is going to simply be that we don't actually have the crafting job at a very high priority for anyone. Soundsphere is about the only one that will do it, but they will prioritize cooking first, which I'm actually okay with. Is there someone else that I could work with? You know what? Sure, let's get Beatram working on that as well. There we go. That should help out a little. Maybe even Tubman. There we go. We'll pop all those up to a 2 just so we can get those bricks coming in and we can start work proper on this bridge. Alright, it is coming up to 4 p.m. on the 3rd day of spring, and look at how the supports are already looking. I am actually really pleased with the effect that we've got going here. Now, I am starting to worry that I have built this a little bit too close, but I'm going to try and overlook that for the time being as we start to lay down the floors. Now, the floors that we're going to be using are, of course, going to be limestone block flooring. And we're going to build out along here, like so. And my intent was to have crenellations on the far side, but we may have to change that up a little bit. We will build down there as well. Once these floors are built, then these ones will be okay. Now, I'm thinking we either have the crenellations just off from this, so they're just overhanging the walls, or we could go ahead and build out another section of flooring and then have the crenellations out beyond that. That might also work, because that would create a solid seam along here, which would make a little bit more sense. But for the middle, I think we're going to go with wood. I think that's going to make this look really nice. Now, I'm building out from each side intentionally, because the last thing we'll do is connect the middle. I'm not even going to put in the support arches until I'm ready to do that. But this should give us a pretty good thoroughfare between the two sides of camp. Now, I haven't isolated this side at all yet, and that isn't even on the cards for the time being. You may also notice that I'm restoring the landscape over here. I figured we've got so much soil, why not? There we go. We'll just build this down a little bit more. There we are. Over here, we're probably going to take a little while to get to that. And in fact, this might be a proper mine. And if we wanted to, I could just cordon off not just some growing land, but also this mine as well. That wouldn't be a bad idea, all things said and done. That might actually be a very good idea, thinking about it. How would we go about isolating it, though? Maybe just a wall along here, right up to this, I guess, little hill. And then out along here as well. We'd want to isolate enough room to make it useful to us. And there's also the clay pits over here that I don't really want to get to just yet. I think what we're going to do is, first and foremost, I'm going to get rid of these trees because it's going to annoy me if I don't get rid of them. Let's make a slope up there. There we are. We'll get up here, chop these trees down, and then we'll demolish all of this, and I'll start laying out the plans for a wall. The wall will probably be along here, joining up with this hill over here. The hill itself can act as a bit of a wall. I don't mind if people get up there because we're likely not going to be defending on this side. We're going to enforce that they come and meet us at our much more heavily defended gate system over here. We've got quite a bit of work to do, though. The farms are coming along, however. I'm very happy to see that. And I'm also seeing that a lot of bushes are just popping up around the farm. So it really does seem that as long as you've got some instance of stuff growing, then stuff will naturally seed. Certainly that's happening with the trees, but I wasn't expecting it with the berry bushes. I'm very, very pleased to see that, actually. Very pleased indeed. Now, in terms of our peeps, most of them are actually coming along. Let's have a quick glance at our settlers. So, Beatram is very good in construction, 21, and very, very good intellectual, but that makes sense because they're so passionate about it, they would learn it quickly. Dakota is still pretty much not a marksman at all. Is getting up there in medicine. Mining is coming along quite nicely, and tailoring is very, very nice. They've actually got 25 in botany, which, despite not having a passion for it, they're probably one of the highest leveled botanists that we have. I know Soup is coming along with construction. They've actually been doing quite a lot of that, to be fair, and decent speechcraft as well. Not so much tailoring, not so much melee, but they'll get there in the end. They've currently got 10 in marksman. Now, this does pose some questions. Why have I got someone who's much better at being a marksman, being a melee fighter? Well, it's quite simple, really. It's that they're still a better melee fighter than the other people who are worse marksmen. Is more or less the long and the short of it. Melody Rose is fantastic at carpentry. Melody Rose is responsible for the vast majority of the spears and the bows that have been made here. The carpentry skill of 30 I'm very happy with. Smithing and speechcraft both at 17, not too bad. And mining is climbing, but it's a slow climb. It's a very slow climb, actually. Soundsphere, 21 in culinary, 19 in botany. Another person without a passion who's got a very high skill level in them. Intellectual, despite having a double passion, yeah, it's not their strong suit, really. Ultimately, it would be nice to get to a point where I can just have people do the things that they're passionate about and, you know, damn the efficiency, because eventually they'll get very good at it, but we're definitely not at the kind of population that would support that style of play, unfortunately. Not too bad at mining, though, and quite decent at being a marksman. Very happy with that. And, of course, Tubman, 23 in animal handling, 23 in botany, 28 in construction, 28 in marksman, and not actually bad at speechcraft. The things that Tubman isn't passionate about, they really don't do. They have no care for something they're not interested in. I can get behind, and that is definitely a mood that I have felt myself on many an occasion. Nevertheless, it would be nice to see them branch out a little bit more than they have, but there is something to be said about being very, very specialized in arguably a broad range of skills, just not in every skill. Nevertheless, I'm very happy to see the progress that Tubman is making. What are you hauling right now, Tubman? Because you are moving as slow as molasses. You might just actually be very, very tired. Can I see what you're bringing? You're bringing an entire... That's fair. That's completely fair. You're carrying 80 kilos of the 60 kilos you're meant to be carrying. Well done, Tubman. I'm very glad that you've got the message on bringing back your kill, because unfortunately, Melody Rose and I Know to Soup have not got that message yet. Hopefully Tubman can teach them the ways of the hunter. But progress continues, and I'm really liking that texture difference. That is what we're talking about. Okay, well, back to work. Really, Tubman? Again, dude? Why? Ah, my lord. Fine, I'll dig you a way out. You fool. This is what happens. You take your eye off them for a second. It comes to something when you've got a stockpile full of silver, but you would gladly trade for its equivalent weight in limestone. We do have limestone over here, but it's kind of muddied with coal and silver and a little bit of gold as well, so slow going on collecting the resources, unfortunately. Well, that being said, we do have research available, and perhaps we might want to look into smelting. And specifically, we could then look into building up some gold and silver reserves for trading. This is not necessarily the worst idea. Let's go ahead and set up a smelting furnace. This is a place to bring metal ore and transform it into ingots. Very, very well. I will have these outside because let's not put industry right next to the Oak Brethren Shrine. I feel that that's kind of an insult. Let's instead build it over here by the Restitutionists. They'll be happy to be getting silver. We'll have 3 of them because this is a kind of a long job. It's a largely automated one. You set it up and then you leave it, as far as I recall. I could be wrong about that. Hopefully I'm not, but it wouldn't be the first time. We have now got the ramp up here, though, so we can now go ahead and chop down all these trees, and then we're going to just demolish that little hill in its entirety. Hopefully we'll be able to get a little bit more limestone. There we go, seeing some limestone over there. And Alakramp's doing the best work, getting all of that those limestone blocks brought down. Fantastic. But the bridge is coming along on both sides. On this side, we're almost finished. Or at least we were almost finished with the platform. Then we're going to have to start putting up the crenellations. Now, the crenellations specifically, we're going to go with, I'm thinking, limestone block once again. Salvation, the progeny of the plague. Some said tales of the progeny eating people with poppycock. But they crossed themselves when Demeter appeared, having escaped as the brutes were sharpening their knives. If cannibals came looking for their lunch, would you keep Demeter off the menu? Well, look, I'm just trying to recycle. Come on, it's the plague has happened. Normal customs need to be a little bit more flexible. The cannibals did nothing wrong. Nevertheless, we will take you on board because you've got 22 intelligence. Wow, okay, nice. And quite a high passion for construction. I mean, they can eat the people who are freshly dead. We don't need to proactively be cannibals. Frostgrave's inhabitants decided to help. Right, let's have a quick look at you. And first and foremost, we need to know your name and also whether you're wounded. You've got a minor arm laceration. Ooh, looks like someone already took a bit of a nibble. Sorry about that. But let's find out who you actually are. Everyone, please welcome Rysel to the colony. Let's find a little bit about you, Rysel. You're a Yorkist courtesan. Ooh. Rysel speaks soft and low with a gentle laugh as pleasing as birdsong. Despite being a great storyteller, nobody knows her checkered history at court. However, Rysel knows a tasty little secret about almost everyone else. After the apocalypse, Rysel thought it was bleeding obvious that the royals were to blame, cutting England to the bone because of their silly French war. She had pitched in willingly to help shore up York's defence. Someone had to make a stand. You know the whole thing about the tasty secrets, Rysel? That doesn't mean that you should imply that you actually taste good. Whether or not you do, I'm not making any judgments on this, but, you know, there are a lot of hungry people out there, apparently. That may have been a bit of a poor choice. Nevertheless, you've got a nice perk down. You're a witch, highly attuned to the natural world. She listens closely to the feral whispers of the plants and the animals. Animal handling +3, very, very nice indeed. Let's see, you don't have any religious alignment. Well, you're a practicing restitutionist. You almost don't. This settler needs just an occasional quick prayer to satisfy their religious needs. They require a church of restitution, shrine, or chapel for their religious observances. Well, welcome to the settlement. I will get you all set up with a schedule and jobs, but let's have a quick gander. It seems construction really is your bread and butter, so you're probably going to be looking at that fairly closely, and I wouldn't mind having someone dedicated to smithing, but I am definitely starting to feel the hurt on not having some people who are specifically dedicated to stewarding, hauling, and crafting. I guess everyone's dedicated to stewarding a little bit because it's such an easy job, but definitely hauling and crafting are going a little bit wanting. Nevertheless, let's get you in here, and I guess I also need to put down a bed for you now, don't I? Well, I mean, we do have space. It won't be much for now because we weren't really planning for this, but nevertheless, here you go. You can have a little bit of a straw bed in the bedroom. It'll be fine, and I'm now going to have to look for a place to make you a room. Well, lost property. Violent extortionists, the progeny of the plague. Armed, hulking, and pitiless, the circling raiders cried out a terrible ultimatum. Their raid was to be swift and brutal unless you yielded Rysel to them. They knew exactly what they wanted. Frostgrave's defiant settlers refused to bow to the assailants' demands. We only just built her a bed. You stood your ground, refusing to give in to their demands. Frostgrave took up arms, making ready for battle. Okay, let's have a quick look at you. We've got at least a 1, 2... any more? 2 archers, 3 archers. One of them looks like they've got... Oh, no, actually, 2 of them look like they've got longbows. Actually, no, we've got 4 archers. That is definitely a short bow from what I can tell. Let's have a quick gander. Can I see what you got? Short bow there. What about you? Also a short bow. That's very good news. But that is a war bow. As is that. Okay, well, we've definitely got a bit of a fight on our hands and quite a few people outside. Now, I took the liberty of cancelling their final jobs just to get everyone inside, but it didn't happen quite fast enough. Now, I have decided against having the crenellations built 2 out. And the reason for that is it honestly just looked weird when I put down the ghosted image. I'm very hopeful that this will look significantly better. We will see, though, how much better. But what we need to do at this stage is get everyone drafted and up on the tower. So, Tubman, let's get you up there. Sound Sphere, let's do the same for you. Let's get Melody Rose up there as well. We don't know exactly where they're going to be coming from just yet. Beatron, let's get you up here. I've also taken the time to lay down the footprint of what will be a 2-person bedroom. We really don't have the resources yet for private apartments, as much as I really wish we did. But we can at least give 2 people a fairly nice little space there just along the walls. Now, Dakota and I know to soup. Let's get you in position at the guardhouse. Let's first make sure that I know to soup is heading over there. Let's pop you there, and Dakota, you can go here. Now, as for Rizel, are you actually healed yet? You more or less are. What is your skill with combat? You have no marksmanship to speak of, but you're actually one of the better melee combatants that we have. So given that, let's go ahead and get you equipped with a spear. That being said, maybe actually for you we'll go one-handed with a shield. You can be our shield wall. I would like you to have a helmet, and I would like you to have all armor, not just light armor. There you go. That should be good enough for you. Let's get you inside as quickly as I can. Let's see where you are and what exactly you're doing. You're grabbing resources. I'm okay for you to do that. Alright, let's get everyone in. I believe the attackers are just milling about out there. If we can get our archers up onto the towers before they have a chance to really get over here, that's going to be fantastic. Oh, Melody Rose, you're so far away. This is going to be a tricky one because they're going to be between you, I think. Can you get up there? You might be able to get there in time. Whoa, 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 Rizel. I admire that you want to get work done. Truly I do. However, let's not, shall we? Let's get you inside, and let's tell you instead to go and equip. Or pray. That is also a fairly reasonable response, actually, all things said and done. Tubman, let's get you over to this corner. There you go. Alacramps, I really don't want you going outside anymore. So, domestic Alacramps, you are going to be on vermin control only for the time being. Sadly, we do not have a cat anymore. I'm not sure why. I didn't receive any notification that any of our animals had suffered any attacks, but here we are. Rizel, oh, you're just eating some roasted meat by a shrine. You know what, again, that's probably a sensible thing to do. Right, let's have a watch. Isabella's already been deeply wounded by the stakes or by our archers. I can't quite tell. But let's go for you down there. Melody Rose, you're going to do the same. I want you aiming for their archers, please and thank you. Do we have a shot on them from over here, Soundsphere? Can you take that shot? I'm not sure. Let's see. It looks like you might be able to. Where are they going? Are they going to just... Oh, they're attacking things. That's fine. I don't mind that at all, actually. Let's see what we can do. Let's just make sure that we are defended over here. They've finished destroying everything there, which is kind of annoying, but... Ooh, you just got a bit of a shot there. Let's try and aim back down at them if you can. Melody Rose, can you take a shot there? Thank you. We've already slain one of them. Ragnhild is, I believe, equipped with the warbow. That's the other warbow user. Now, where are you and what are you doing, Rizel? You're praying right now at the rest. Oh, of course. Why did you go to eat in the Oak Brethren Shrine? You're a restitutionist. I've got questions. Maybe this was a crisis of faith, and you were like, look, I don't care who saves me, but as long as someone saves me, I will dutifully follow you from that point onward. Please just don't let me get eaten. I mean, you know, it's fair, I suppose. Right, let's see. Are we able to do enough damage there? Nicely done, Tubman. If you can finish off Edric, that would be fantastic. Beatram. Actually, sounds fair. I'm going to move you around. I would like Beatram in that corner if I could get them over there. There we are. Beatram, you go for them with that nice, big, powerful longbow of yours. Melody Rose, let's slide you back. I want you two inside, just going for anyone who tries to get indoors. Alright, there we go. Add another down. Fantastic use of those longbows. I am so glad that we upgraded to those. This is looking pretty solid so far. They're not making a move, though. I'm not really sure what's happening here. Are they just dazed, confused, stupefied by our hitherto unheard of strategic defense? No one's ever seen a gatehouse like this. This is a novel concept. They are utterly dumbfounded. I honestly have no idea what the AIs do. But we're going to go with this. Just they are overwhelmed, thrown into a chaotic ramble, arguing amongst themselves. You said this was going to be easy. No, you said it was going to be tasty. I may have said it was going to be tasty, but I didn't say it was going to be easy. I should imagine that they're saying. Nevertheless, if you don't move, I am actually going to kill you all. And we're not even going to eat you. We're just going to burn you. Well, there we are. Tubman has converted to Oak Brethren Zealot. Devout Oak Brethren no longer felt meaningful enough. The reason was, the gods granted us victory. 10 sworn enemies died during the fight. Tubman was the bravest of the settlers, dealing the most blows to the foe. Melody Rose took the most damage from the enemy, thinking only of defending Frostgrave in its hour of need. Some of the bandits of buildings of Frostgrave were destroyed. Pyre and wooden doors. That's fine. And now they're going to skedaddle. Well, okay. Really? Rizel? Are you going out for vengeance? Blood vengeance? I mean, I'm okay with it, I guess, but at this point, I think it's safe to say that our defenses were rather formidable. A little bit too formidable. I'm kind of confused with why they didn't pursue. But here we are. That was kind of all over the place in the end. It did seem that this particular defense utterly confused them. It might have been the blocks there, but I would have imagined that they would have gone through. But honestly, if this defense is so novel, so ingenious that our enemies just can't make head nor tail of it, I'll accept it, even if it does feel a little bit cheesy. Alright, let's go ahead and open up all of this. There we are. We've just inherited an awful lot of gubbins. We do, however, need to make sure that we burn the corpses, because that's going to get very, very stinky very, very fast. I mean, it's not going to be much better if we're burning them, if I'm perfectly honest. It's going to probably make it worse. But it'll make it worse in the short term. It'll concentrate the stench into just an evening. Whereas, alternatively, it would just slowly decay into something absolutely wretched that would last for weeks. Corpse pile is not a pleasant experience. Right, there we are. That was actually not a bad little engagement. We've still got work to do on the wall, though, but I'm pretty happy with the first real test of the defenses. Now, Melody Rose took the most damage, it mentioned. Let's have a quick look. You probably just got a bit of a scratch, honestly, so not even that much to be concerned about. Now, that's only going to get better as time goes on, but perhaps it's a little bit too good already. Did we get anything particularly nice? I mean, we got some war bows, but were they any good? They've got very low hit points, as is going to be the case. Honestly, it's probably going to be more useful for us in terms of smelting them down. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and set up an order to smelt anything which is, let's say, below 60 hit points. There we go. Anything made of metal that is particularly damaged, we're just going to get rid of it. There we are. And the other one then will also be, set that one up forever and mark this one for anything that is flimsy. We'll keep sturdy. That's fine for now. But beyond that, we are then going to pretty much smelt iron forever, smelt gold forever. and then smelt silver forever. We'll make the useful stuff first, and then we'll start working onto the currencies. But that has pretty much got to be copied across to this one as well. Cat has arrived. I'm not sure that that was a wise decision, considering I don't know what happened to the other cat, but welcome. Do we even want to name it? Yes, of course we want to name it, but I feel quite concerned. Your name, Doggy? I can't decide whether that's because someone has a good sense of humor or they're trying to give the cat a complex. Either way, you're not going to be keeping that name, Doggy. My goodness. Everyone please say hello to Isham, who will hopefully be trained and kept safe this time. Fingers crossed, Isham. You've got a reasonable chance of success. I don't know what you're complaining about. All right, let's have a look down here. There we go. That's a much better design, I feel, for this bridge section. We've also got the pies up and running, which is fantastic. Let's just make sure that this is not for settler corpses and we're not using coal, and we will set that up to happen forever. I'll do that for all of these. There we go. So again, no coal, no settler corpses forever. And Rizel, who's been doing a lion's share of the constructing, actually. I'm very, very impressed. You're already getting off to a good start, proving that it was not a mistake to protect you. You're helping us get a lot of the buildings done, including work on your bedroom. Let's actually turn the roof off there for a moment. I've gone ahead and I'm using the limestone brick brazier. I'm not sure if one brazier over another is better at doing the job, but they certainly have different looks. Like that brazier is a square brazier, so I think that'll actually be quite nice in there. Rizel's already up to a construction skill of 10. Well done, Rizel. Hopefully we can continue on as with that high skill rate that you've got going for you. In so far as helmets, though, Rizel hasn't actually gone for a shield. Interesting. You've gone for a dagger. All right. I mean, I'm going to let you choose what you want to equip, but I probably would have gone for something a little bit better, but nevertheless, you know, you do you. And it looks like we have managed to bring in our very first apples, and the trees look absolutely beautiful. Apple trees always do when they're flowering like this. I imagine, are going to be seeing this as a pretty big component in our decorative designs in the castle and courtyards in the future. Right now, obviously, this is just a seeding area. It's very temporary. A lot of this is very temporary. But in the future, as we start to decorate much of the same way we've done with the bridge at the moment, we're probably going to see apple trees featuring fairly heavily. And on that note, it has occurred to me that I have made a grave mistake. We require something more over here than simply having these pillars be rounded. There's a very, very specific reason why I need to do that. So we're going to have to expand these out a little bit. So something like this on each side. But it should, I certainly hope, be worth it in the end. It does mean we're going to have a much smaller archway over here, but honestly, that's fine. It kind of even makes sense a little bit that the deepest part of the river would have the most support per tile of bridge in a way, though it very much is just a happy accident. But once this is built and I can round that off, I will move on to the next step and show you why I think we want to have these 3 wide instead of 2 wide. Also, I Know Soup and Melody Rose are now friends. Hooray. And here we are, just a sound sphere, and I Know to Soup become friends. Confirmation that I wasn't imagining things. It is actually more of an automated process. It requires a bit of manual work to start the smelting process, but then it's just time that carries it through, whereas recycling is much more of an involved process the whole way through. Now, progress is kind of slow going over here because there's not a lot of crafting of stone bricks happening, and that is largely because there's a lot of crafting of walls happening. I've expanded out, or I'm in the process of expanding out the flooring over here, just replacing this with soil and building up the walls. I would very much like to be able to cap off this episode with an entirely enclosed growing space over here, and a bit of a mine as well, though setting up the mine proper and the growing space as well, that will definitely be for a future episode, but I would absolutely love it if we have a finished bridge and a new whole section to expand into. So that's the goal right now, and towards that end we'll probably be pulling away these ramps. At least one of them will happen fairly soon, but the other one can stay for a little bit. Now I do have an extra special plan for down beneath the bridge eventually, specifically in regards to the mines, though that's going to be a little ways away for now. Might even be several episodes away, if I'm perfectly honest. Nevertheless, I have plans. The cogs and wheels are turning inside my brain box. For now, though, we're just continuing on with smelting silver ingots. Where's a merchant when you need one? But the progress continues apace in Frostgrave. Attack! The mountain bandits, they appeared silently, eyes hollow, hair wild, smelling rancid and daubed with blood. Everyone in Frostgrave recognized these pillagers as assailants of the most deadly kind. They were beyond reason, with nothing left to lose. Okay, well, that certainly is a thing, and I haven't finished my wall yet. I'm not even close. How dare they? Alright, well, we definitely need to get everyone inside then. That was a lot sooner than I was expecting. Let's make sure that our wildlife, well, Alacrams is probably, I should have actually turned Alacrams back onto hauling, but sadly I did not. Right, let's get the group up on top of the towers then. Beatram, you're heading over there. Tubman, you're heading over there as well. Soundsphere, let's get you there, and then Melody Rose. Actually, Beatram should be over on this side, thinking about it. Beatram, you go there. Melody Rose goes over here. That will take care of all of that. Rizel, let's get you at the gatehouse, along with Ino to Soup, and Dakota with the spears. Now, eventually, we'll have that be a metal great door. Sadly, we have finished some of this, but not quite close enough yet. Right, let's hope that everyone does get inside before things get a little bit too hairy. Let's see, they're going to come straight down here. They're going to have to go down across this ramp and up. We should have plenty of time to attack, but where are my pets? Okay, pets are inside. Isham is safe indoors, and Alacrams is safe downstairs. Rightio. Ooh, what just happened there? A hood deteriorated. Oh, diamond blast. The hood wore down. Okay, well, that's that is a thing. Now, Beatram, you should be able to get some shots in here. No, not yet, apparently. Okay, fair enough. Do we have any bows? Not really. Soundsphere, let's get you over there. Oh, you can already take shots. Nice. Let's get you down there so you can start attacking them as they approach. That's good enough. Now everyone else can get involved. Tubman is not going to see much action over here, I'm afraid. Ooh, Beatram's taken 2 nasty hits. I think you are being protected. No, not quite. Not quite. Let's move you back, Beatram. Let's move back from that location. Are you... Ooh, you're actually still being attacked from there. Okay, well then it makes sense for you to take the best defenses that you can over here. Melody Rose, let's move you up a little bit. Tubman can move down into that position. A much stronger attacker will be able to do more with that. Soundsphere, I want those archers dead, so you can come and help with that if you would be so kind. I am shocked that they're able to use our own defenses against us here. That is not something that I had considered. The fact that there is sight lines through here, I guess technically the crenellations are working against us. That's a bit of a problem. Beatram, how are you doing? Let's have a look. You're actually not too bad. You've taken hit point damage, but that's all. Right, that was a good hit there. Let's keep it up. We need to take them down as quickly as we can. Could I get both of you? Oh, well, actually, you're focusing in the right ways. I'm going to let you pick your own targets for now, though it is causing you to spread out your damage a little bit, and that does worry me. Maybe Melody Rose would be better to come across. Melody Rose, could you make it over there? Tubman can hold this side by themselves, I should imagine. Let's see if we can get a couple of good shots. Let's prioritize the archers, though, because we really haven't been doing that enough. Go for Edward, yes. Beatram, also go for Edward, yes. Okay, let's try and get you down as quickly as we're able. That's a nice shot there. Soundsphere, could you go for Olin? There we are. Same with Beatram. Let's just try and focus fire for now, because we really haven't up to this point, and that has caused us some trouble. Melody Rose making their way around. Good, good, good. We'll have a third archer to help out. Good shot there on Olin. Now, we don't need to worry as much about having people on either side as we used to, simply because the enemy are going to be down the middle. So it's not going to be as difficult for us. Wounds need tending. That does not surprise me. A pierced leg muscle is a bit of a nasty one. Definitely. Now, are there any more archers left outside? It doesn't look like. Oh, no, they are actually going to make a rush for it. Oh, thank goodness. I was a little bit concerned that this was not... that they weren't intelligent enough to make use of the approach. And that would have felt, as much as it was funny to joke about, I would have felt way too cheesy. I would have had to have redesigned the gatehouse to make it something that the enemies understood how to get through. I wouldn't have wanted them just never to be able to attack just because of that. Right, Beatram, could you move up? You can get much better aim from there. We should be able to absolutely decimate their forces whilst they're on the approach to this door. It's going to take them a while to get through, and eventually making this into a solid reinforced door will be fantastic for us. It's actually got a lot of health because only one person can attack it. Unlike this one, where 3 people can attack it at a time, this one takes much, much longer, which holds our enemies in the killing floor for significantly longer while our archers just have their way with them. There we go. Another one down. I'm surprised they haven't broken at this point, if I'm perfectly honest. We could even focus on Alduin, but you know what? If you manage to get it through, I'm going to let you have it. You've lost your entire, all of your companions, and you're about to lose your life as well. The least you can do is get through a door. Right, the beleaguered settlers came under attack in the spring of 1354. Rysel, now considered Melody Rose a friend. We battled together. I love it. I absolutely love the social dynamic now. Mercifully, all settlers survived. 11 sworn enemies died during the fight. Beatram was the bravest of the settlers, dealing the most blows to the foe. Also took the most damage from the enemy, thinking only of defending Frostgrave in its hour of need. We lost a pyre, or rather several pyres, and a wooden door. Right, they're actually going to try and get through, are they? I'm a little bit surprised with that. Melody Rose, head on over. Soundsphere, also head over. Beatram, you are no longer drafted. Same with Tubman. Same with everyone, really. Well done, everyone. That was a fantastic, fantastic battle. We did very, very well. All of the traps need to be reset, and there's still a lot of work left to do about here, but we're getting there, little by little. We are going to have this bridge finished this episode. I hope. Melody Rose has turned 28. It is the first day of summer. We've gone through an entire season and a half building this bridge, which I suppose makes sense. But now, finally, you can see exactly what I was thinking about when I expanded out the bridge. It would have looked too lopsided if I only had 2 pillars, but having a central pillar to affix a nice iron torch is going to give us some amazing night illumination. I'm really looking forward to it. Now, I'm currently building down a ramp in the middle of our mine as we put the last bit of wall up around the perimeter. Then I'm going to seal this area off with dirt, remove the ramps, and then it'll be time for us to connect everything up, or at least getting close to the point of needing to connect everything up. We've still got an awful lot of things to haul in, we always do, and somewhere around here, if it hasn't run away, I spotted a bear having a bit of a tussle with some polecats earlier. Someone appeared like a warm blessing, coaxing the settlers to shed their warm clothing. Now was the time to build underground storage to keep food fresh in the sunny days to come. We will work on that. Where is that bear? There was definitely a bear. Has it left? Let's have a quick look. Bear. There is a boar, but is there a bear? Let's have a look. There we are. Yes, there is in fact a bear. Oh, maybe you shouldn't be dancing. To be fair, the bear is probably more afraid of you than you are of it, really. It's not from these lands. They are strange and curious with bizarre creatures. Nevertheless, we do have a bear on the map. I'm thinking we're just going to leave it well enough alone. We would need 30 in animal taming to even try. I wonder what the chance of retaliation is for a bear. Let's have a quick look, shall we? 66%. Tameable 45%. Okay, that's not terrible, but still not the best odds, all things said and done. But we are doing quite well over here. We've almost got this wall set up, and in fact, we now have the... yes, we have got the ramp built as well, so that means that we can now go ahead and seal this section off completely, at least for the time being. Once that's done, I'll remove this ramp, and then we will focus on getting the last bits and bobs done for the bridge. We are making progress. Oh, there is a heat wave. As the sun beat down, sweat poured from the workers' slick backs. They tired quickly in the blistering heat, wilting like the crops, which needed to be tended and harvested quickly before they withered. The workers needed shade. Some worked after sundown. That does make sense. Ooh, okay. Right, well, first and foremost, let's not have any braziers on. Let's turn them right off. All of them. Every single one needs to be turned off right now. Same for this one. Please turn that one off as well. I guess I need to tell them to go ahead and harvest everything. It's kind of a pain, but all right. Let's get to it if we can. And I suppose I could just switch around sleep time. Gonna be a bit of a long night tonight. What's the time? It's 12. Ugh. Look, let's not work through the midday sun, shall we? Let's not be fools. There's a saying about that. Let's instead switch over to sleep on this schedule. I wish there was a way to kind of nail down a schedule switch for things like this, but we're going to work at night from now on. It's not going to be to everyone's liking, but it'll do. And yes, I did just realize I could have just made 2 changes and then copy and pasted it where it needed to be. But here we are. Right, crack on. There we go. Rizel is doing some amazing work right now, genuinely putting forth an enormous effort to validate their rescue. We had to build a little bit of a scaffolding in order to put the finishing touches on the archway there, but it's all coming together at this point, and we have almost bridged the gap. In fact, we now technically can. If we were to build the wooden surface there, then this gap would be completely bridged at that point. So, given that, I think it's time that we pull away these ramps. There's no reason for us to have them anymore. We have now got access to this area without. Now, if we double check over here, there's no ramps that lead down here. Are there any ramps that lead up? Yeah, there's one. Well, there's a couple of ramps that lead up there, so they'll be able to walk around on the walls to whatever effect. It doesn't really matter. I'm not intending to defend from that area, so I don't really worry too much about it. But it looks like we are about to complete the bridge and forge the crossing of this dried riverbed over here. There we go, the last couple of bits put in there. Melody Rose taking out that ramp and possibly on to take this one out. That's fantastic. And it looks like the final pieces are in place. Now this is going to force them to have to build from that direction. And there we are. We have massively expanded the keep area. It is fully enclosed. The only way up on to here at all is through this gatehouse. On that note, actually, I haven't replaced that door. That was very silly of me. Let me go ahead and fix that. Though, you know what? Let's have a quick look. Is there a way of me getting the reinforced doors? I think it is time. Now, the wooden trap requires mechanical components. I do not have those, but I can at least build the reinforced door. The wicker door, the reinforced door, the grated door, a portal with a view. See who or what is outside before you open it. A barn door. We'll go for the reinforced door. If you prefer to think of your home as a fortress, this double-strength entry is for you. And I absolutely think that is what we need. Can we upgrade this in any way? Sadly, no. Now, if I wanted to, I could have it be bars, and the bars would give me the ability to attack through the door. At least from what I understand, a grated door like this would let us fight through it. And we do have spears for that reason. But I think the grated door is of a significantly lower health. Hit points is 300 versus the reinforced door, which is 500. Versus the regular wooden door. I mean, it's still twice as protective as the wooden door. And it would allow us to very quickly remove any scallywags who were stood on the other side. So I think we will go for the grated door, ultimately. Another thing I've done actually off camera, I failed to note, was flagstone. There's a couple of places I popped that down. I know it is kind of a frivolous use of our resources, but damn does it look good. How are the leaves getting inside? This wicker roof isn't worth a thing, unfortunately. Oh well. But we have almost finished the bridge. Now, of course, having come this far, I'm not going to cut things short there. You'll also notice that I've changed the decal a little bit over here just to make it look a bit nicer. And I think it really adds to the effect. Quite a lot, actually. I'm really, really liking that effect. But we need to get the very last bits and bobs popped up, namely the crenellation. So let's get these in place, and hopefully we'll be able to finish all of this off in just a few moments. Blighted crops. The settlers knew that when crop blight appeared, it was a race against time. Every able worker in Frostgrave toiled to weed out the scourge before it withered the healthy plants. Frostgrave's very future depended upon it. Well then, that is most ungood. So, I guess time to wipe these out wherever it exists. Unfortunately, it looks like it's taken out pretty much all of this crop over here. Which ones were they? That was the flax. Has it hit my berry bushes? No. Okay. Well, then for this, I'm going to bump up cut plants pretty much to top priority for everyone. This is extenuating circumstances. Let's get this done, peeps. Let's not allow this to wipe out all of our hard work in the farms. Chop, chop, chop. Tubman, are you coming over here to help? Yes, you are. Good man. Gonna have to move fast, though, because it is starting to spread. There we go. It looks like we're going to lose the entirety of that crop. Yeah, we have lost the entirety of that crop, sadly. As long as it doesn't spread too much more aggressively, we should be okay. I don't think it's in the berry bushes, but I can't tell for certain, unfortunately. But that was a bit of a pain. I'm not going to lie, that was quite sad. Hopefully we've got enough seeds to replant those, but that's anyone's guess at this point. Damn. Heat wave and then a crop blight. Definitely not going Frostgrave's way at the moment, is it? Finally, a merchant with something that I wanted to buy. Elizabeth Shaw from Potcoat has dropped by. I'm going to offload a bunch of seeds that I don't need. 40 apples, now that I kind of feel a little bit. And also 20 silver ingots for 2 barrels of mead and 7 ice blocks. There you go. Thank you very much indeed. Let's get those ice blocks down below as quickly as we possibly can. Where should we place the ice blocks? Maybe I even need a shelf for ice blocks. Let's have a look. I can put textiles in there. Doesn't look like I can actually put ice in here, though. I guess I could put ice over here. I wonder, would this be material? One would imagine so. It doesn't come under raw material. It comes under manufactured. Very well. Please bring that down as quickly as you possibly can. In fact, I know how to. Can you haul to stockpile right away? Just grab all of it you can. Take that downstairs. Ah, fantastic. Now, if we're very lucky and we can get the temperature below the freezing point, then that might last us for the entire... Oh, my lord. 1 block per. That is... less than ideal. Cools down the air around it. Minimum temperature achievable is 0. Oh, so we can't actually get it to below freezing. Thus, the ability to kind of keep the place frozen and to refreeze water. But, you know, I'll accept it for now. On that note, we probably do want to expand this out a little bit, I should imagine. We are actually quite close, but I think we can make something like this happen if we do something along those lines. Just expand this down and build that out. It would be wonderful if I had a chest or something along those lines that I could use, but I guess this will have to do. Now, problem is this breaking down? It doesn't care about the floor it's on, doesn't care about the weather. Well, actually, it does a little bit. However, the temperature, yes. It would not decay at all if we actually managed to get it to 0 degrees, then it would remain perpetually frozen. It'll decompose in 32 days. That's actually not bad. We'll be back in winter time by then, which is very nice. And it is actually doing a good job of cooling this area down very nicely. All right, I'm all in favor of that. We've still got a little bit more work, but it is getting down to the very, very last bits and bobs left to do, so the end is in sight. Well, as we put the final touches to the bridge, we are rewarded with a beef. It has decided to come say hello. Well, I mean, I don't really have anywhere to put a beef, and you may also notice that we don't no longer have a cat. I honestly don't know what's happening, whether they're just wandering away before we can fully tame them, but we've had at least one that's fully tamed. Perhaps they're just very short-lived. I haven't actually looked at the age of the cats. But sadly, Isham is no longer here. Whether Isham got taken out by some of the raiders or got taken out just by wildlife, I really don't know. But we do have a cow. So, you know what? While we wait for the final little bit there to be done, let's go ahead and throw down a very, very quick little area to keep that cow, shall we? I think we should. Let's go ahead, pop something down like this. I have no idea how big we need to make it for a cow. Well, I would assume quite a lot bigger than this, but it is a game after all, and games have different ideas about such things. Do we have a trough? We do. Let's pop the trough in there. Alright, now if this all goes to plan, then we will keep our first proper livestock, I suppose. We'll have milk on the menu, and eventually beef. And there we are. We'll just quickly get all of this together. Tubman, if you could do the honors. We've got enough limestone at this point to finish this, but oh my lord, it is the 9th of summer, almost the 10th. We've almost gone through 2 seasons and a half just getting this made, and at least half of one season has been just putting the crenellations in. We've got a very, very... Oh, it's asleep. It decided to sleep on the spike traps. Not the smartest creature, I will confess. Nevertheless, I'm not going to name our livestock. I'll name our pets, but I won't name our livestock. Though at this rate, I'm starting to wonder if we should be naming the cats. We will. We'll continue naming the cats simply so that I'll feel bad when inevitably they disappear. But for now, we'll just try and get this little fenced-in area and indeed the last part of the bridge done, and as soon as this pen marker is done, we'll see how we can bring our new member of the colony into its new home. And that's it. Tubman currently considers, well, the gate only just got built. Prior to that, this whole inner area was the cow's pen, so Tubman just brought her along and put her on the bridge and left her there. Honestly, what a fantastic place. You basically gave the cow the honor of the maiden voyage across the freshly, completely constructed bridge, and I couldn't be happier with how it looks. I think that's actually pretty cool, though. The mossy surface there, that happened when it rained a while ago, and it just hasn't gone away. But there we are. That is the bridge complete. It turned into a bit of a... Well, I mean, I'm not going to call it a mega project, but it felt like one in the final stretches because everything that could go wrong to delay getting these things built, like the amount of failures to build the final crenellations was kind of shocking considering how quickly everything else flew up until we were like within sight of the finish line. But that is going to be it for this episode. We have enormously expanded out our area. We now have our very own mine. We have our very own cow, though I will build a better area for them and properly make a barn so they can shelter indoors, so on and so forth. I wasn't really expecting to dedicate a big chunk of this to livestock, but here we are, I guess. We do now have a pretty amazing bridge to cross the Dry River, and that was really one of the goals when we first settled in these lands. But as I mentioned, as I alluded to, I've got a couple of extra plans for this. Ones that we may not get to in the next episode, but will definitely be in the next few. As for our colonists, well, they're all doing rather well. Our food stocks, it's doing okay. It could be a lot better, but we've even started seeing apple pies. So you can't say fairer than that. Our peeps are getting some pretty good food, considering this is like post-plague Britain, and there are people out there having to eat their friends and for want of proper victuals, though maybe they are actually choosing to eat. We're not going to judge. I'm sure they've got their reasons. Nevertheless, I'm pretty happy with all of the progress that we've made in this episode. Just to recount, we have now got a new bedroom. That means we actually have a spare bed for the next person who joins us. We have upgraded the Oak Brethren Shrine. We've moved the merchant store, we have finally seen the gatehouse in action, and wow, it is shockingly effective, and it is even more so at this point. It'll be interesting to see how this functions with spearmen behind that gate when the next attack comes. But the big the main feature of this episode was, of course, this bridge, and I am absolutely thrilled with the way it looks. This is going to be a big step forward for Frostgrave. One of many, I hope. But we'll have to wait till the next episode to see where we go from here. Do let me know down in the comments what you think about the bridge, and if you have any ideas of what the next project should be. Hopefully it won't take me 2 seasons and a half to do it, but we will see. But that is going to be it from me. So until next time, and from myself and everyone at Frostgrave, including the new cow, take care, everyone, and remember, our bridge great.